webinar series, we are very happy because in this time we invite a very special guest. Her name is Martina Gregorova, and she is journalist, climate reality leader, and today she will be talking about climate crisis. So we are very happy. So welcome, Martina. Can you hear me? Your mic is mute. Can you put it on?
Okay, should work now.
Yes,
hello,
now
Tanya.
it's perfect. Hi, Martina. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
All fine. Thank you for the invitation, for accepting it, and you're a great guest, and we are expecting great things to learn today.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, first of all, and yeah, I hope I won't disappoint you.
No, definitely, I know that no.
Okay, so can you hear me and see me well currently?
Yes, everything well. So can you present yourself a little bit more? So after that, we can go over the presentation.
Sure. Okay, so I'll introduce myself briefly. My name is Martina. I'm originally from Slovakia, but currently I'm based in the UK, where I work in environmental communications. I originally studied journalism, and yeah, now I'm here. And on the side of working in environmental communications, I am a climate reality leader. I was trained in the summer of 2020 by US ex-Vice President Al Gore, who founded this amazing organization called Climate Reality Leadership Corps, which is the world's largest organization or network of climate activists who are people from all walks of life. And we have a common mission, which is spread the truth about the climate crisis, which is why I'm here today. And I'm going to talk to you about the climate crisis and about the current situation. And yeah.
Sounds very interesting. I think that right now we need to be more conscious about all what is happening in our world and start to taking care of that, no? Why is so important the climate change? Like, what is the crisis? Why is so important to start making like conscious of that?
It is very important because we don't have much time left. Okay. Actually, the United Nations declared this decade as the decade of change, which means that now second or third year is running. If we count 2020, 2021, 2022 is running now. So we've got 8 years to change our climate policies. So if we don't do that in the next 8 years or so, it might be too late. And as you can imagine, individuals have a strong impact if you think about it, because we can influence others. It's a chain reaction. So if we change our behavior and educate others, and this can be a very powerful tool for change. Education always is. So that's why it's important to talk about climate change, to make other people understand, so we can be. I am now sharing my screen.
Yes, you are sharing it. We can see it.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Sip of my tea and begin.
Excellent.
All right, so this photograph that we're looking at is called Blue Marble. It is the first picture of our planet fully illuminated, and it was taken by NASA's last Apollo mission in 1972 as the crew was traveling toward the moon. This photo has forever changed the way that humanity thought about our common home, the Earth. It reminds us that we are all connected and that our actions have an impact on our planet. There are only 3 questions remaining about the climate crisis. Must we change? Can we change? And will we change? First of all, must we change? The scientific community all around the world has been telling us for a long time that yes, we must change. Now Mother Nature is telling us. The sky is not a vast and limitless expanse the way it appears to us as we stand on the ground and look up. In reality, there is just a thin shell of atmosphere surrounding the planet. In this photo, you can see how the sun shines over Earth's horizon through the 2 lowermost layers of the atmosphere, the troposphere and the stratosphere. We are putting 152 million tons of man-made global warming pollution into the atmosphere every single day. That pollution, especially carbon dioxide, is building up and it's trapping heat. Here's the basic science of global warming. This has been understood by scientists since the 1800s. So energy from the sun comes to Earth in the form of light. Then that energy is absorbed by the Earth and warms it. Some of that energy is irradiated from the Earth in the form of heat, and some of that outgoing heat is then trapped by the atmosphere, which is a good thing. It has kept our planet at a stable temperature. But now we have been thickening the atmosphere by filling it with heat-trapping pollution, which means that more heat energy is trapped, and it is warming our planet at an unprecedented rate. There are many sources of human-caused global warming pollution. Agricultural practices, for example, or industrial processes, forest burning, transportation, among other factors. But the main source and cause of the rising global temperatures we are seeing today is the burning of fossil fuels. Fossil fuel use and emissions have gone up dramatically since World War II. Today, even though the renewable energy sector is flourishing, fossil fuels unfortunately still provide more than 80% of the world's energy. As a result of this pollution being trapped in the atmosphere, global temperatures have risen dramatically. In this graph, you can see how the average global temperature has been rising since the Industrial Revolution in 1880s. If you ever try to talk to somebody who denies that global warming is man-made, just show him this graph. These are facts. 19 of the 20 hottest years ever measured with instruments have occurred since 2001. The hottest year of all was 2016. In this photo, you can see a man who succumbed to heat exhaustion in front of Trinity Church in the city of Boston. The European heat wave of 2003 led to the hottest summer on record since 1540 and killed more than 70,000 people. Heat itself is already a big problem in many parts of the world, and it does not only affect us people, but also animals, crops, and our weather. On a global basis, more than 90% of all the extra heat energy trapped by our atmosphere is going into the oceans. This heat makes ocean-based storms like hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones stronger and more destructive. Half of the increase in global ocean heat content has occurred in less than 20 years. Hurricane Florence produced record-breaking rainfall across portions of North and South Carolina when it made landfall on the morning of September the 14th in 2018 in the United States. The way this works, because the extra heat also disrupts the water cycle, is that the amount of water vapor that evaporates of the oceans increases as the oceans warm. And then that water vapor is carried over the land and often falls in much bigger precipitation events. And when the land can't absorb all of the water that falls in these larger storms and downpours, we see floods and mudslides. Extreme precipitation events have produced more rain and become more common since the 1950s in many regions around the world. In this photo, you can see a supercell storm with a column of rain at its center near Glasgow in 2010.
Wow, this photo is like really open my eyes. This is crazy. Actually, it looks like it could be fake, but it's real. Like
looks like from a horror movie. I
yes,
agree.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a beautiful picture as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got some more scary pictures coming. Extreme precipitation events led to record flooding, which has been occurring all over the world. So for example, here we can see floods in South India, in Tamil Nadu in 2015. Sometimes people wonder how global warming can be blamed for causing more precipitation and flooding, and at the same time, more drought.
Sure.
Well, the extra heat trapped by rising levels of greenhouse gases actually leads to both. And as the climate changes, precipitation patterns also change. leaving some places with less rainfall than before. Changing precipitation patterns can lead to drought and water shortages. Southern Brazil, for example, suffered a devastating drought in 2015 and 2016. Higher temperatures also have a direct effect on the incidence and severity of wildfires. Here we see that the number of large fires corresponds closely to years with higher average spring and summer temperatures. Today, the fire season in the Western US is more than 100 days longer than in the 1970s. In 2016, this fire in the heart of the Canadian tar sands region destroyed large parts of the city of Fort McMurray in Alberta and forced the evacuation of over 100,000 people. The number of climate-related extreme weather events has been going up worldwide, according to the insurance industry. The last 2 years rank among the top 10 most expensive for overall disaster losses, with over 160 billion American dollars in losses in 2018 and $140 billion in 2019. The first photo of a glacier in southwest Greenland was shot in the summer of 1935 and shows glacier ice covering the fjord walls. And in the second photo is the same glacier, which had almost completely melted by 2013, not even a century later, due to the rising temperatures.
This make me like also remember that not so far ago, it was also like the fire in Australia, correct?
Fires in Australia, yeah. It was a very medialized case because obviously it was very impactful. So here was another point I would like to mention, which is that NASA has measured the decline in the mass of ice in both Greenland and Antarctica. And all this extra melting is raising sea levels worldwide. Next slide is an example of flooding which occurred in Miami Beach in Florida on a sunny day with no rain. High tides now regularly flood the streets of Miami Beach, as well as several other coastal cities around the world. This situation will only get worse and sea levels continue to rise. And Miami is the #1 city at risk in terms of assets at risk, along with New York, Shanghai, Mumbai, and others. However, looking at cities at risk by population, we see that many huge cities in developing countries are very much in danger as well. In parts of these cities, if parts of these cities become uninhabitable, where will the people who live there go?
Sure.
The Department of Defense in the United States has long warned about refugee crises connected to the climate crisis, as well as pandemic diseases, water shortages, and food shortages. Heat stress is now beginning to decrease crop yields from rice, corn, and soybeans. Exposure to higher levels of carbon dioxide also decreases the nutrient content of many staple crops such as rice, wheat, and soy. Infectious diseases, heat stress, air pollution, and waterborne diseases are all influenced by a changing climate and not in our favor. Warmer temperatures have an impact on the spread of tropical diseases. Modern transportation and air travel play a part, but the potential range for many diseases expands as regions farther and farther poleward get warmer. This means there are more and more places where disease like Zika can take root.
Sure.
The main mosquito that spreads Zika and dengue and yellow fever as well is now covering a wide range in a warmer, wetter world. In warmer temperatures, the virus incubates faster and mosquitoes breed more and are able to transmit the disease longer. The health impacts of the climate crisis are often overlooked, but will affect and are already affecting millions of people. Climate change, along with other factors such as ecosystem loss, is contributing to the worst extinction event since the extinction of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. All of these threats, including many we haven't even covered here, and the fact that the World Economic Forum says climate change is the #1 threat to the global economy, help to answer the question, must we change? So do we have to change?
Yeah, I think that it's really important that it comes also in the part of education of every person in the world to know this. This is like basic because we are living here. Is what it gives us the food, life, everything, and it's really important to take care of it because it's not only for us, it's also to think in the future generations.
Exactly.
What we are going to let them and how they are going to have the life if we are going to give them good one, middle one, or just a bad one, no?
That's a very, very important point, because I think we both can say that we were very lucky to grow up in a world where, you know, we were able to enjoy the beautiful nature around us and live a fairly calm life. But this will not be the case if we continue doing what we're currently doing. So if we want to have children, even if we don't want to have children, but just don't want future children and future generations to suffer, we should act. So the answer to the question is very clear. It's a yes. We absolutely have to change, and we have to change as soon as possible. But what about the second question? Can we change? Can we change?
I think that yes. Well, with the information, I think that we can change.
Yes, and we already have so much information. We already have so many answers, and that therefore the answer is yes. And I've got some very exciting and positive news for you on this one, because we've got the solutions available to us. We just have to implement them. For example, look at renewable energy. Wind energy was predicted to provide 30 gigawatts of electricity worldwide by 2010. As of 2019, we had exceeded that prediction by 22 times over.
Great news.
The growth in wind energy being built around the world is an exponential curve. Wind energy could supply 40 times more electricity than the entire world currently uses. Solar energy is an even more dramatic story. 18 years ago, the best projection was that we would install 1 gigawatt of solar energy capacity per year by 2010. However, by 2010, we had exceeded that goal by 17 times. And in 2019, we exceeded the goal by 121 times.
Wow.
Yep. Wow. And even more dramatically than with wind, we see exponential growth in the amount of solar energy being installed around the world. Just as we have seen with other technologies, such as computer chips and cell phones, solar costs have also fallen dramatically. In some regions, solar energy is less than half the cost of electricity from burning coal. In many countries where there is no universal electricity grid, we are seeing consumers and businesses leapfrog old technologies and install solar panels in places that have long been denied access to electricity. In this picture, you can see a solar panel on a rural roof in South Sudan.
This is great. This is great for every person, you know, like it doesn't matter where you live, to have a solar power, it can make.
Absolutely. It makes a huge change for people in the developing countries. And Chile is a true solar success story, thanks to its policy decisions, because the country's solar market took off slowly. But look at what's happening now.
Wow.
At the end of 2018, Chile had 2.3 gigawatts of installed solar and has an additional 16.67 gigawatts of solar projects approved or under construction. There are many regions in the world where this type of growth and development are possible. Every hour, the Earth gets as much energy from the sun as we need to run the entire global economy for a year. If we can increase the fraction of this energy that we harvest and use, we can make a lot of progress towards solving the climate crisis and helping local economies at the same time.
Sure.
Battery storage is an essential part of the green energy revolution. Batteries allow us to store excess solar or wind energy and use it during those times when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing. Batteries are also critical for the electric vehicle market. In 2016, the global cumulative storage capacity approached 3 gigawatts, which is almost 2 times the storage capacity seen in 2011. As storage technologies get more efficient and cheaper, the market is growing quickly. Global cumulative storage capacity is expected to reach over 900 gigawatts in 2040.
Wow.
Within the next 8 years, highly efficient LED lights are predicted to virtually take over the market. Energy efficient technologies like LEDs save people money and help to reduce emissions by cutting down on the amount of electricity we use. And all these automobile manufacturers are now offering or preparing to offer electric vehicles. This is another part of the sustainability revolution.
Yes, it is. Definitely, I feel that, and I know that having electric vehicles has been changing a lot. Also, it reduced the contamination about like the noise contamination is different about.
That's another benefit, yeah. Air pollution, noise pollution.
Sure.
Yes, definitely. So can we change? Yes, we can. We've got all of the solutions. It's just about implementing them, and that is very much linked to voting for the right leaders and making sure that we've got the right leaders in the head of our countries, so that we can implement these solutions.
Yes.
So yes, we can change. Now, some information about how we're changing already, which is the answer to the question, will we change? Well, we're already changing. So in December of 2015, at the Paris climate negotiations, every nation in the world agreed to phase down greenhouse gas pollution to net zero emissions as early as in the second half of the century as possible. Climate action isn't just about what countries do. We all have to take the lead on climate. We are seeing corporations, states and provinces and cities commit to reducing emissions. We're also seeing marches and demonstrations and demands at the voting box for the changes necessary to solve the crisis. Please join those who are speaking out, voting, and making everyday choices to fight the climate crisis. Use your voice, your vote, and your choices in the marketplace and in your life. Speak truth to power like your world depends on it.
And it really does.
Because it really does. Our world depends on it.
Yes, exactly.
To learn more about the climate crisis and what you can do to help solve it, please consider seeing the film An Inconvenient Sequel, Truth to Power, or reading the book of the same name. Okay, you might want to note this one down.
Yes. This
of interest.
To continue learning. This is like good tools.
Yes. This was one of the first documentaries about climate change that became popular worldwide.
Okay, so yeah, let's go over it, and I will definitely look for them and continue learning a little bit more.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for having me. And
no, thank you. And I would like to ask you one last question that I think that it's important. It's for us, no, because we can make the difference, no? We can give like the small details can make the difference every day, you know?
Yes.
So can you give us some tips to start doing, start helping to reduce, I don't know, since energy waste, or what you can give us like tips so we can start? Because we know that big groups, they help, but if we start to make a difference individually, it will also be like great help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we, well, first of all, we have to start questioning our choices. And this comes down to every aspect of our lives, whether that's diet or fashion or waste production. we have to start thinking critically and realizing that even though we're just a small dot in the huge sea of humanity, we still matter. We matter because, as I mentioned before, everything is about a chain reaction, and we can influence one person or like 10 people, and those 10 people affect more, like 10 more people, and then you've got 100 people, and
it's like a domino effect. No,
it's like exactly that's what it is. So I would say, first of all, start thinking critically about what you are doing, and what impact does it have that you purchase a hamburger, for example. Every single purchase, that's why we're talking about your behavior in the marketplace as a consumer. Every single choice you make, wherever your money goes, whatever you choose to purchase, it has an impact. You're supporting an idea. You're supporting some kind of some kind of business who either can be sustainable or not. So think about your choices. Really question what businesses you are supporting, and on the individual level, the biggest thing you can do is go vegan. There are studies now that show that that is the single biggest action you can take as an individual, because you will drastically lower your carbon footprint. And not only that, but you can also, if you embark on a vegan diet, you will improve your health as well and save animals' lives. So that would be my number one tip. I've seen great benefits of a vegan diet. I've been vegan for the last 2 years myself. And apart from that, just question if you need the thing that you're purchasing, because everything you're purchasing has an environmental impact.
Sure.
So buying secondhand, I mean, all of that is so popularized right now. I'm sure that if young people are watching us, so they must be familiar with this, but I would just say to really question everything you do. That would be my main piece of advice.
Sure, like products that they're like plant-based, either for makeup, like the clothes that is like cotton, and they are not using like animals for testing. Everything, no, is to go over it and start supporting.
And then of course, animal rights is another huge topic we can get into. But from the environmental perspective, question the businesses where you're purchasing from and look at their policies. Are they sustainable? Choose to buy from local businesses. And so that's what you can do as an individual. But on the grand scheme of things, another thing you can do is vote and talk to people and explain to them how important it is that they also vote for leaders who support green solutions, because we really don't have much time, and it is crucial that we vote for leaders who will help us solve the climate crisis.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, what I can say again, Martina, thank you for accepting the invitation. It was great, your knowledge, and to share it with the people. It's something that we really need to be more conscious about and start acting like you say now. It's like it's a phrase, no, now or never. So it's better to start taking the step and go over it and just continue. So thank you so much. I hope that you really enjoyed also to share it and for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me.
So if you want to share something else, or we just close the presentation.
I would just like to thank everyone for watching, for taking the time and getting out there and trying to find the truth, and just talk to people about what's happening and take action, whichever action you prefer. There are many things you can do as an individual. You can participate in climate action in many ways. Just do something, because your world depends on it.
Yes. And also to thank the Yotam family, that the persons that are watching us, thank you for joining. And the future ones that they will see us also in YouTube channel, thank you. And thank you for making a change and continue learning so much. And Yotam is always here to bring you the best education so you can continue learning and grow your mind. So thank you so much. Have a great day. And well, I hope talk soon.
Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, I hope so. Have a great day too.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.